Hey everybody, I'm back. It's been a long time, it seems. Way longer than I probably said it would be to get back to you and provide a recap of my trip. So here we are, March 4th. I guess it's been almost a month since I've been back. I know this has been 3 weeks. So I apologize for the delay and the length that it's been since I've provided an update. And this won't be the last one, just so you know. But I've had a couple people asking, when are you going to give an update? When are you going to give a recap of your trip? So here we are. I'm going to try to keep it to 6 minutes this time. So I'm watching very closely because I've been looking at the stats on YouTube, and most everybody, the length of time that they stick around and watch is about 6 minutes. So that's what I'm going to try to stick to today. But anyhow, just a quick recap, some of the key things I took away from my trip. The biggest takeaways and what I'm kind of taking with me as I go forward. So shared some of the stuff this morning in a group that we do here locally, an online thing called the Peoria Open Coffee Club. So the first one that really stuck with me was processing grief. Intentionally listened to some playlists and stuff that I listened to and we had playing at the hospice home when my late wife passed away. Not to be creepy, sick, or weird or anything like that, but really to force myself to process that. Get alone with those thoughts, process them, and really determine kind of where I'm at. So with all that, what I kind of determined is, just this metaphor around grief being like a hurricane, that the craziness, the winds, and everything that comes along with a hurricane, the eye wall, after the eye wall passes, right? That's been kind of where I had been for several years, really, and kind of determined, after the trip of that portion is kind of done. And if you've heard anything or studied grief or talked to anybody about it or experienced it yourself, right, it's usually described by therapists, counselors, whomever, right, as this ongoing wave or series of waves that after, a certain point, grief comes in waves, that it's, up and down and up and down. And really those high points, you feel great. Low points are, low points are actually higher waves, but holidays, birthdays, special occasions where that person's not there. So I think for me, just kind of where I'm at, right, is in that wave stage, right? The waves sometimes subside over time. Sometimes you hit a huge one. That's just the kind of the way it is. And certainly not dismissing her memory, forgetting about anything like that whatsoever. Just the fact that kind of being able to process it, internally process it, and know where I'm at, was really important for me and something I got out of that trip. So that was the first one. The second big piece for me, which I haven't really shared with anybody too, was just around a career piece, a career thing for me. There was an app idea that I had talked about, I think in one of my previous blogs on here, or videos on here, about this Audix idea around the automotive enthusiast. That was something that early on in the trip came to mind. And it stuck with me for the whole trip, and I'm honoring that and moving forward with that. So I'm pursuing that, seeking to raise some money, putting an investment deck together, building a team, actually trying to build this thing out because there's a reason that it was in my head and it was continuing to circle and continuing to come up in my thoughts. So honoring that, pursuing that. Hopefully you'll see some more about that here in the coming days. And then finally, the biggest thing, I think, too, that I uncovered was the whole rediscovery of relationships and reconnection. So purposely on this trip, I stopped in places where I had family and friends. And thankfully, in most cases, I was able to reconnect and spend some time with them. So with my late wife's brother, so my brother-in-law, my half-brother, I call my brother. So my brother-in-law I hadn't seen for almost 5 years. I hadn't seen my brother who lives in north of Salt Lake for 11 years. I saw some friends from high school who I hadn't seen in 9 years. Then I saw some family friends that I grew up with, honestly, like One was younger than me, one was older than me. Our families like literally grew up together from the time I was little until I was a teenager. 2 times a week, summers, weekends, all kinds of stuff. We hadn't seen each other for almost 12 years. So just that kind of got me thinking, and had this conversation this morning around reconnecting. For me, not ignoring those relationships or putting them to the side and not letting it go so long. It went for, years, right, before when I talked to them. And there wasn't anything necessarily that was bad. No bridges were burned. There were no hurt feelings in any of those situations. It was just a matter of everybody gets too busy. And we all have choices to make. And sometimes those relationships that meant a lot to us in the past, we don't reach out to them. We don't talk to them. While there were great things there, we don't have time. So just being intentional about that, and that's something I want to try to continue to do moving forward is with those relationships, the ones that reconnected, but also other people, and kind of going back through my past and thinking through who had an influence on my life and making sure that trying to maintain those connections. And it doesn't have to be like, you become besties again and you're talking like 3 or 4 times a day, but just maintaining some form of communication where it doesn't go years and years and years before you talk to each other again. So anyhow, that was great. Just on my weight loss journey itself, I don't know if you can tell in the face here, but as of, middle of April last year till this point, I'm down, I think, 99 pounds, so almost 100 pounds. Since my surgery, it's about 90. I think I was up to almost 360 in April last year. And then right before my surgery, I was down to about 350 or so, hovering around 260 right now. So about 90 pounds since the surgery. Still have a ways to go, trying to get to about 225 for my goal weight. Hopefully I can get there by my birthday, which is in July. I don't think that'll be a problem. And now it's kind of turning my attention to exercise and starting to lift weights again. My arms, which I have a coat on right now, starting to look like white sticks, and they need some definition and need to get some muscle. So working on that, trying to get into the gym, hopefully here soon, and kind of get that process going again. So that's it for now. I ended up going 7 minutes, and I should have gone 6, but hopefully you stuck around for this. I'm here. I'm going to continue to talk and probably share another post about the weight loss journey and a conversation I had today with somebody that's looking to explore it too, and really focusing on men and the stigma and stuff that comes along with weight loss surgery and food addiction for men. So going to continue that in the next discussion. Won't be a month, hopefully much less than that, now that I've kind of got it set up, and my dog's in the background, so they provide entertainment sometimes. Thankfully they're asleep right now, but so yeah, I'll be back with you soon again. So feel free to share this, send it to people that might find some value in it. And if you haven't watched any of the past videos, the links should be below in the description, or you can check it out here on the channel. And hope you subscribe, stay tuned, and we will talk to you soon.